I'm gonna make a bold statement. If you think you have a money problem, it's never actually a money problem. First way to prove that is if you can write a check and it goes away, not a problem, right? Anyone in here want more financial capital, by the way? Show of hands. If you don't raise your hand, you have to stop listening right now, because I'm about to show the magic formula here. Like, I remember when I really got clear about this, I was doing a radio show, and I brought on this guest. His name's Rich Christensen. He had written a book called Bootstrap Business, Zigzag Principle, Toes Turn Purple. Brilliant guy, but I want to be entertaining on radio, and he's in person, in studio, and he said that he had started a business when he wrote Bootstrap Business for less than $5,000. They were documenting it in the book, and they were going to sell it for multiple millions, and they just sold it for multiple millions, and he proved out the concepts of the book, and he said, with nothing but $5,000. And on air, I said, you're a liar, which he's a Mormon. He doesn't like being called a liar, you know? So he gets really red in the face. He's super pissed, and for dramatic, I just stay with the pause. And I'm like, and when I thought he might punch me, I finally go, well, let's go through this really quick. Who was your first client? And he said, what do you mean? I'm like, well, just tell me who your first client was. This is a brand new startup business. He goes, Sean Combs. I'm like, oh, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, like rapper, Sean Combs? He's like, yeah. I'm like, a startup business, got his business? He goes, well, I had this business before that I was doing. I'm like, oh, so maybe I have a point here. See, where most wealth is unrecognized, unutilized, and where you store the most equity in the world is something called relationship capital. Relationship capital are people, networks, organizations, subscribers, clients, family, friends. Like, relationship capital is absolutely key. It's the main key to wealth, yet most people that are contributors like you are really good at contributing, not so good at receiving. Like, if I went through, before you knew who I was, and I asked you, hey, what can I do to support your business? Most people would say, I'm good. Because we're just busy, right? We don't think about these kind of things. But think about when you support or help someone, do you feel more or less bonded to them? More or less connected to them? So you have so much that's available to you just in relationship capital. And Ryan says it's not about the resources you have, it's about being resourceful. This is the resourceful equation. This is the impact equation and the value equation, because in the world of cause and effect, value creation is at the cause and dollars are the effect. More simply said, dollars follow value. So we're going to test this equation as I unveil it. We're going to give you a sheet right now. It's called the Cashflow Starter Kit. We're going to see how to put this into action, right? Now, the other part of this equation is mental capital. Have you ever heard it's not what you know, but who you know? That's a lie, because if you know nothing, no one wants to hang out with you. And I was like, oh, you bring nothing to the table, please show up. Let us teach you everything while you bring nothing back, right? So mental capital is our ideas, innovation, insights, human ingenuity. It's all these kind of like, it's our strategies, it's our concepts. And see, the bridge between mental and relationship capital is what I would say is business. The game of business is how do you deliver your mental capital to people through solving problems, serving others, and delivering that value, and as a byproduct of that, you make money. So it doesn't take money to make money, it takes value creation to make money. So this is the problem in the world of finance. No matter how hard you work, no matter how great your relationships are, if you don't have the right financial insight, the right financial team, the right financial structure, that could all go away to taxes, to interest, to mistakes. Anyone else in here other than me made a financial mistake before? Like I got really good early on in my career thinking I was Midas. Someone told me I was financial Einstein, and the problem was I believed it. So my very first real estate deal that I had nothing to do with the deal, I just had 25 grand that I gave my brother-in-law. And he gave me back in 3 months 50 grand. If you annualize that, that's a 400% return. Then the second deal my buddy Joel brought me, we put no money down on the deal. We bought it because his friend was going to lose the home and had just got a new job, and then I helped him repair his credit. And after 2 years, we sold it back to him, and I walked away with 90 grand. I might as well be the kid that goes to Vegas and wins the first game of poker, and now I'm going to be a professional, right? See, because we all have something called investor DNA. Your investor DNA is your core values, your core competencies, it's your core drivers, and you focus instead of diversify. You focus on things you know, because it's how do you become the best investor? There's no such thing as a great investment. There's great investors. And if you get into something that makes money and you don't know how or why, it's dangerous. It's seductive. So it's actually the best investors, according to Warren Buffett, are the people that say no a lot more often. Because they say no to everything unless it perfectly aligns with their knowledge and their investor DNA, because there's risky investors, not risky investments, right? So the more mental capital you have, see, I was leveraging financial capital. I was borrowing money from a bank to buy real estate, and then all of a sudden when the real estate went down, I'm still stuck with the real estate, but I have a bill. The best thing to leverage is mental and relationship capital. Like, if you could just save the tax because you have the insight, or you have the team that does this, like, think about what that does to your financial capital. We all know in business, we've heard it over and over again. How important is it having an A team in business? I mean, IBM said it was a 5,200% difference when you hire an A-teamer versus anything less in production. Or Steve Jobs said it was a 99-to-1 advantage if he hired an A-teamer. He said, if I went and bought, and this is so old because it's from the Titans of Technology, recorded in the 90s, and it was then re-put out on the lost tapes of Netflix, is what the series was called. But they showed the whole interview, and he said, hey, if I bought the best CD player versus the second best, it's hardly something you can tell the difference. He said, but if I got the very best employee versus someone that was second best, he goes, it was my strategic advantage in building wealth because I got a 99-to-1 return. So we know that in business, but what about our finances? If we're so busy working and playing offense, if we don't have the defense that says, how do we keep more of what we make? Then you get stuck in the playing to win, which is highly risky.